first week of 8th grade, Mr. Niche asked us to fill out a simple note card. And I, being the overachiever I am, thought to myself, yes, easy 5 points. Name, hobbies, I was doing great. And then I hit the last question. What do you want to be? There was no time frame, no example. The sheer open-endedness of such a simple question was daunting. So I settled on my go-to answer, unknown. When we came back to class after the weekend, Mr. Niche read us one card. It wasn't mine, it was Elisha Fronda's. When asked what he wanted to be, Elisha responded with 2 words, something big. Now, I don't even know why I remember this story at all. Actually, it's probably because I had a fat crush on him at the time. But for the past 5 years, those words have inspired me. Not only do they respond to a broad question with an equally vague answer, but they also seem to hint at greatness, to dream, to achieve, to be something big, have been goals of mine and of this entire class throughout our years here. Those of us, or should I say our parents, who have proudly worn our class shirt, know that we can all identify with the motto, go big or go home. As I see it, there's no better time for that saying than right now. Some of us have been here for 13 years, and some just 1, but all of us now face probably the biggest turning point of our lives thus far. Seniors, that's not to scare you, because trust me when I say I'm just as anxious as anyone else. However, the next 5 or so years have the same open-ended nature as that question I mentioned earlier. And to that, I've learned to say, you guessed it, go big. Now, I don't personally consider myself qualified to stand up here and tell you all what you should or should not do once you leave this place, because we've definitely had enough of that over the years. Thanks to having chapel for what felt like every day, even though it was only every other week, as well as Kumukale's emails and posters and announcements, and even letters to our houses to make sure we showed up and hopefully passed the Coliseum, I'm actually pretty confident in the moral standing of our class. Thank you, Kumukale, Uncle B, and Kaku Cordell for appealing to seniors who didn't want to listen to anyone but themselves. I know that when we are faced with issues of right and wrong, most of us tend to go big making good decisions, and that's how we managed to earn one of these seats here tonight. Of course, Kumukale might have argued otherwise when Ko'olau decided to whistle not once, but twice at one of our first kanaiponos. But I think even he can agree that we've come a long way since then. My point is that you all know how to go and lead your lives, so I don't want to hit you with warnings or consequences of any sort. I do, however, stand here as a representation of our class at one of our last moments all together. As you've already heard, we've had a pretty eventful ride up on our hill, and now I've been asked to help you all look forward. For many of us, this graduation is a sigh of relief, an end to years of stress and hard work. Well, newsflash, we might have summer just in front of us, but the work isn't going to end anytime soon. That doesn't mean that I'm condemning you to an unhappy future. If I've learned anything from my high school career, it's that working harder makes the reward so much sweeter. From Kaeo Cruz's record-breaking cross-country and track careers, to the dark skins 4-peat on the dodgeball field, to the large number of Ivy League acceptances we've had this year, the class of 2016 has proven to have big aspirations and the drive to achieve them. Yet, we're not always so forthcoming with this go-getter attitude. A common misconception is that going big implies obnoxious visibility or fatal hubris. But our class is pretty mellow overall. Amongst our successes and even our defeats, we've held our heads high and maintained an aura of humility. It's an easygoing facade, though, that can easily fool. In the words of Mr. Andrew Lai, Our class has so much potential and talent hidden behind that metal wall. Individually, we are passionate and competitive, and it is these hidden strengths that will allow us to sneak up on people and impress them, and eventually steal their jobs. We have been the stealthy leaders of our campus, and we are soon to be the leaders of our community. So as you go through whatever your post-high school plans entail, remember the vast range of opportunity that this school has set us up for. Whether you're headed someday for the Olympics, like Tashaya Alo, starting your own Hawaiian music empire, like Uhi Osaka and Tyrus Kupihea, or taking advantage of the accelerated medical programs at UH Manoa, like Jordan Bayudan, who, if I may remind you, is, quote, Hawaii's image in all things good and industrious. Keep reaching for the greatest heights and never settle for just average. What you're doing or where you're going may change over the years, but the drive, the idea of going big should never change. It's important to note that big dreams are great, but they're really only the first step. As J.K. Rowling reminds us, it does not do well to dwell in dreams and forget to live. Living big entails so much more than dreaming big. But when we truly apply ourselves, we can make our dreams come true. I'm sure everyone gathered here today is looking forward to watching us realize our greatest aspirations. I have to give credit to my parents, my teachers, my peers, and so many others who have supported me and my classmates over the years, all of whom I know will now have high expectations for us from home. As budding Hawaiians in an ever-changing Western world, we lie at the crossroads of two seemingly conflicting paths, yet we've been given the tools to succeed in both approaches. Regardless of whether or not you've found your inner ku'e spirit, our roots will always link us back to our hill, our islands, and our lahui. Take Will Cockett, for example. Will plans to pursue a career as a business executive, and through his successes, make his way to the top. By this, I mean that he once asked our homeroom to vote for him as the future leader of our sovereign Hawaiian nation. However, some of us may be more like our class vote for most likely to be a billionaire, Aramis Subi, who was definitely never part of the Kui Club, and plans to make a career far away from here designing apps for iPhone 15. Both of these young men exemplify how our generation is making the concept of what a Hawaiian is bigger. By thinking big and setting great first impressions, we are expanding the definition of a Hawaiian, adding terms like CEOs, software engineers, global leaders. So explore your passions, devote yourselves to your crafts, and achieve, because every accomplishment will reflect on our lagui, and that is what we need. Unfortunately, the whole go big or go home idea implies that if you don't make it big, you might as well quit and head home. You don't need to be a four-year member of the speech and debate team to realize that glaring inconsistency. So let's re-examine our class motto. I hope that by this point I've emphasized the importance of going big enough. We all have our passions and goals to strive for, and we can picture ourselves at the peaks of our successes. At the same time, though, we're big kids now. Life isn't always going to put a rainbow in your na'o, and the consequences at times will probably be worse than detention. But in the wise words of Carnegie Mellon's late professor, Randy Pausch, the brick walls are there for a reason. The brick walls are not there to keep us out. The brick walls are there to give us a chance to show how badly we want something. Because the brick walls are there to stop the people who don't want it badly enough. It's when we pick ourselves up from the falls, and when we stand up to challenges, that we showcase just how much we can accomplish. And although rather cliche and not quite so eloquent, my mother chipped in a gem of advice when she told me that everybody has his own big, but you just need to be the biggest big you can be. Now you know where I get my writing skills from. My dad. Just kidding. You know I love you both. Class of 2016. As we head in all our different directions, the support we have for each other will never fade. And the milestones we reach will add up to all the world of difference. To reflect upon my 8th grade note card, our future isn't so much dauntingly unknown as it is something big. So continue to go big, to go far, to go learn, to go help, and sometimes to go home. Just so you can get back out there and go bigger. But whatever you do, just keep going.